Welcome. My name is Jessica. If y'all haven't practiced with me before, so thank y'all for joining me today. What we're going to work through for our practice today is just some warm-up movement and a little bit of a slower flow in preparation for a seated meditation at the end. And when I teach flow and meditation practices in studios, if I do this style of practice on my own, it tends to be slower, a little bit juicier, and time to connect to the breath and not so much like creative movement. And so the movement coordinated with the breath becomes in a way a focusing tool for us to start to train our mind for what we will encounter as we take our seat at the end of practice. And so it's not necessarily that the flow is meditative. I know some teachers teach that way, but that it's our tool to get us in a place where meditation might feel more accessible or feasible at the end of practice. Because meditation, for those of us who've tried it, at least for me, I know it's not been an easy journey to learn to meditate, and it took me many, many years to find a place where I'm comfortable with it. So hopefully we'll work the body out a little bit this morning, warm it up a little bit in preparation for our seat at the end. So starting with that, start to work to find your comfortable seat. Whether it's the seat right now or the meditation seat at the end, please know you can do anything to be comfortable in the seat. So one foot in front of the other, Sukhasana or easy seat is accessible for a lot of people, and for some it's not. So feel free to sit up on blocks or a bolster. I don't have my meditation pillow in here with me right now, but if you have a meditation pillow to sit on, you can grab that. If you need a chair, if you need to move against a wall at the end of practice for the meditation to start off, please know that those are all options too. So let's come to our comfortable seat, sitting up nice and tall. You can either close the eyes or focus your gaze right now. We'll bring either one or both hands to our belly. And if you've taken my practices, you know I talk about diaphragmatic breathing a lot. I think it's something that we can always be reminded of, and it's such an important tool for the overall health of our body and our nervous system, in my belief, but it is really a great tool to anchor for our practices and for our meditation. So with one hand or both hands on our belly, we'll begin to breathe into the space of the belly. So breathing in through the nose, let the belly move into the hand. Breathing out from the nose, let the belly draw back. Breathing in. Breathing out. Expansion. Contraction. As you're breathing in and out through your nose, you're letting the depth and length of the breath be your own, something that will be sustainable for the practice, but that feels nourishing as we breathe in and releasing as we breathe out, not forcing either side. Stay with it. I know sometimes talking about the breath when we get on our mat, we just want to move, can seem really boring for a lot of us on some days. But this, in particular, this breathing technique, but a lot of the pranayamas, they're so good not only for our physical health, but for our mental health, which I know I personally have been facing down the past few weeks, and maybe some of you have too. So this really accessible, free tool is here with us. So a couple more moments connecting to our breath. Moving your other hand up to your heart center. And now do you feel the movement of the breath and the beating of your heart? And reconnecting to that in this practice. Let's take a moment setting an intention or dedication if we wish. We'll take a cleansing breath here together. Deep breath in. Let it go. Opening the eyes, lifting the gaze. We will find either an easy seat. You can do blocks underneath the knees, or you can sit back on your heels, either one. We're going to start with stir the pot for the spine. So hands on your knees or thighs. Just move off to one direction. It doesn't really matter which one first. Moving around to the front, off to the side, and then back around to the back. And you can make these circles as big or as small as you want. You can see I'm coming a bit closer to the floor. And as I go back, I'm really exaggerating, pulling against my knees and thighs. But if we need to make these more upright, we can. If you want to keep the shoulders and the head and the neck out of it, you can. Or you can add those into it. So just a couple more rounds on this first side that we decided to move to. Noticing how our spine and shoulders, maybe even how our hips feel this morning. And then let's start to move those in the opposite direction. Again, you can explore different heights, different speeds. If you find a juicy spot, feel free to stay with it. I feel like all practices are there for us to learn from guides, but to find our way to our power to own our own practice and find our movement within a practice. So you're exploring here your own body and what feels good for you, how you want to do it. And then we'll come up through center and start to work some seated cat-cows. So as we go forward, leading with the chest, you can take your head up if you want to. And then as we go back, pulling against the knees and thighs, rounding the back here. The breath in can take us forward, opening up through the chest. And the breath out can flow us rounding our back. Take a few more cycles, moving with your own breath. One more moment. And then after that last one, we'll start to come back up through center. Inhale, stretch our arms up. Exhale, up and over. The first side you want to move to first. Inhale, come up through center. Exhale, off to the other side so that palm can come down to the mat to help support you or a block. Inhale. Exhale. Use the breath in to propel you up. The breath out to let it go. Breath in. And out. One more breath in and out. Breathing in, come up, and breathing out, find a twist. Breathing in, sitting up taller. Breathing out, feel your twist. One more breath in. Let it go. Breathing in, circling back through center, stretching your arms up. Breathing out, twist opposite side. Breathing in, lengthen. Breathing out, twist. One more breath in. And breath out. Breathing in, coming back through center, stretching up. You can take your gaze up. Breathing out, flow the hands down. Okay, we're gonna move into our tabletop from here. Feel free to grab a blanket or anything to pad the knees if we need to. I'm gonna grab blocks for underneath my hands today. Give myself a little bit more height and space. So palms about our shoulder distance apart, our hands turned at the angle that we need to. I'm not going to talk as much about alignment today, just more about feel in the body. Knees distance apart that feels comfortable. We'll take a couple of movements through the spine. So it can be something like a cat-cow if that's what we're used to doing, but feel free to start to find any sort of movement for the hips, back, shoulders, and arms that feels good for you. Just exploring edges and tightness and openness. One more moment here. And then we'll come through a more neutral tabletop. So we'll engage into our palms, drive ourselves away from the mat a little bit more. Extend the right leg back and up. You can point or flex the toes. Exhale, draw it underneath our body. Inhale. Exhale. As you release that breath and find the strong contraction, really hug in at the end of the breath. Inhale, open. Breathing out, we round. This time as we breathe in and open, we'll stretch our left arm alongside our left ear. Exhale, round. Inhale, open. Exhale, round. Inhale, open. We're going to stay open and then bend the right knee if we want to. If it feels okay, we'll reach back with our left hand for that right foot, bind it, and you might find a little kick into a back bend here. If you've got this, you can breathe for 3 more breaths. You might be working something like this unbound. That's fine too. Take 1 more breath in. Let's let it go. Left arm reaches forward, right leg reaches back. Left palm down, right knee down. Breathe in, cow pose. Breathe out, cat. 1 more breath in, cow. Breath out, cat. Neutral tabletop. Firm up the grip with the palms. Take the left leg back. With the breath out, round. Find the tightest contraction at the end of the exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, we open. Shift the weight into the left palm. Maybe stretch our right arm alongside our right ear. Exhale, round. Strong left arm. Inhale, open. Exhale, round. Inhale, open. We stay open. If you want to play with bending the left knee, you can, drawing the heel closer towards the opposite glute. Maybe sweep the right arm back and find that foot or ankle if you want to find the bind. You can kick up into this if you want to a little bit more. Breathe here. 3, 2. Release. Right arm forward, left leg back, right palm down, left knee down. Breathe in, cow. Breathe out, cat. Breathe in, cow. Breathe out, cat. From here, we'll start to tuck the toes under, elevate the knees away from the mat, and start to work our way up and back to down dog. Can move around a little bit here, pedal at the feet, bend the knees, lift the legs, just move around the back of the body, whatever you need this morning or this evening, whenever you're doing this practice, this afternoon. Breathe here. 3, 2. If you want to move the feet a little bit closer together, you can. We'll elevate that right leg up and back behind us. Bend the knee, open up the hip. If you want to move around a little bit there, you can. If you find one spot that feels really good, you can stay with that. One more breath in. Then re-extending the right leg, we'll roll the thigh down and in. Take our gaze forward as we elevate high on the ball of the left foot. Step our right foot forward wide of our right hand or that block. Lower the left knee down to the mat. Sinking into our lizard pose here, so palms can be inside that right foot. Feel free to come down to your forearms on your blocks, books, or your mat. Can do things like explore the back quadricep. I don't run or jog, but I tried to the other day and I'm very tight in my quads. So if you're feeling anything like that, bending that knee will get you into that quadriceps a lot more. If you want to bind that up, you can. If you want to add in a little bit of a twist, maybe that feels good for your spine and for your shoulders today. The head can be any direction you want, so feel free to explore your lizard here. Take one more round of breath. From here, we'll move back up to our palms if we went down. Keeping our right foot wide, we'll shift back towards a variation of a half split. Exhale, take it back forward. So we're going to try to lengthen out our breath so the movements coordinate. Exhale, flow it back. Breathing in. Breathing out. Stay back this time. You can flex your right toes towards your face. We're going to walk the hands over to the right, outside that right foot. Hands might be on blocks to help us do this. You can crawl your left arm a little bit longer, feeling a big stretch and pull through the whole left side of the body. maybe even through those muscles that live in between the ribs, but right now I can really feel it in my QL and in my lats. Take one more breath in, and exhale, coming back through center. From here, we'll shift the weight into the palms, swing the right leg back. Right knee's gonna touch down to our mat, tuck our toes under, find our down dog again. Take a breath in, breath out. So our flow today is more about just opening up some space into those parts of the body, left leg up and back. Bend the knee, open up the thigh here, and hip towards the left. Open up the parts of the body that tend to be necessary for a seated meditation, which means a bit of space in the hips, mobility there. Some strength, length in the spine and the torso. Take another breath, exploring the opening on this side as you bend that knee. And then we'll re-extend our left leg, roll the left thigh down and in. Shift forward on the ball of the right foot. Step our left foot forward, wide outside our left hand, and lower our right knee down to the mat. Again, if you've got sensitive knees, feel free to pad back there underneath the right knee. And when you're ready, starting to move down onto your forearms if you want to, or you can stay on your palms. You can explore any options that you did on the first side or new options for this side since it's a new side. As you're not only exploring the feel of the physical body here, really explore the feel of the breath. So we're connecting to it and what it feels like to connect it as we're moving, rather than sitting still. Take one more breath in. Coming back up to our palms. If we went down, shifting back for that wide half split. So the left leg stays out wide. Exhale. Inhale, moving forward. Exhale, flowing back. Two more. You're moving at your own breath speed. So you might be faster or slower than me, that's fine. Eventually we'll all work our way back towards that half split. We'll stay back. And then either hands on blocks or just on the floor out beside us, we're going to start to walk it over towards the left. Crawl a little bit longer with more intensity through that right arm. Feel the right side body really stretch out here. Take one more breath in. Breathing out, we'll come back through center, rebending the left knee, stepping back, finding our down dog position. Take another breath in. Another breath out. Elevate high up onto the tiptoes. We'll roll through the spine. So we're going to think about making the biggest cat back we can as we move forward, stacking the shoulders above the wrists. And then here, bending the knees, leading with our booty back, bending our way back, down dog. Again, ride that wave. Elevate the heels, roll through the spine. Bend the knees, flow it back. One more. Elevate up. Roll forward. Back, bend it back. Stepping the feet closer together. Right foot up and back. Draw the right knee underneath the body. Step the right foot in between the blocks for your hands. Lower the left knee down. Inhale, stretch the arms up. Exhale, side bend up and over to the right. You might slide a block back there for your right hand. Take a big breath in. Big breath out. Inhale, come back up through center. Open twist, right arm back, left arm forward. Slide the palms together, and then we'll connect our left elbow outside our right thigh or right knee. Press into the palms, into your fingertips too, and then lengthen out through the spine. Take your gaze wherever it feels good. If you wish to elevate that back knee away from the mat, you can totally do that. I'm just going to bend my knee, get a little bit more fire into that quad. Breathe here, 3, 2. On 1, start to release. Arms reach up alongside our ears. Exhale back. Find a half split, more neutral this time, since we have that right foot in front of our right hip. Inhale, take it forward. Stepping our left foot forward. Exhale, forward fold towards the top edge of our mat. Inhale, roll up the spine. Circle or reach the arms up as we get up to the top. Inhale, lengthen. Maybe a little bit more of a standing back bend if you want it. Exhale, forward fold your way. You can swan dive down, hands through center. You could roll down instead of leading with the chest. Inhale, lengthen. We'll step the right leg back, right knee's going to touch down. Stretching the arms up alongside our ears. And then exhale, side bend over to the left. Again, you can use a block out there if you need to. We've got little short arms, so I'm using one off to the side. See if you can stretch longer through that right arm. You should be able to feel the pulling through the whole right side body. And then see where it goes. I start to feel it through the front of my right hip and pelvis too. Take one more breath in. And then we're going to find our twist coming up through center. Left arm back, right arm forward. Lean out. You can connect that right elbow outside your left thigh or left knee, and then come into that prayer position. Remember, you've got the option to elevate that back knee away from the mat if you want. Another breath in. Sweeping up through center as we come out of it. And then hands touch down, shifting back into a half split, a little bit more neutral here with the orientation of our foot and our hips. Shifting back, forward, rebending into our low lunge, stepping our left foot back. We find our down dog. Again, rolling through the spine. Riding that wave back. Rolling through. Taking it back. One more. From here, we'll lower the knees down to the mat. Take the knees wide, about mat width apart. Exhale, hips back towards the heels. You can do this on blocks with your child's pose. Feel free to work into the shoulders a little bit differently that way. You can move the blocks underneath the elbows and forearms. Bring the forehead down to the mat, or you can do a more traditional child's pose here as well. As you connect the forehead down to the mat, towards the mat, That space in between the thighs with the knees wide. Let's think about sending the movement of the belly in and out into that space. One more round. From here, we'll start to lift our forehead away from the mat, move back forward, and start to take our knees about hip width apart. We'll grab our blocks if we want to, slide them back behind us alongside our feet or a little bit further back. Again, we're just going to move with the movement of the breath flowing in and out of, say, a lower camel. So hands on blocks or the mat back behind us. Inhale, press into your blocks or into your mat. Elevate the hips away from your heels. And then you'll start to push up. Exhale. Bring the hips back down towards the heels. We're going to fold all the way down, flipping to the tops of our palms, the tops of our hands. Inhale, roll it up. Exhale, find the back bend. Inhale, bring it back down. Exhale, fold it over. 2 more, breathing in. Breathing out, lifting it up. Breathing in, starting to round back down. Breathing out, we'll find that fold into child's. One last one, breathing in. Your breath out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in, lifting the spine back upright. You can swing off one hip or the other, pull your legs out from underneath you. Give the legs a good little shake here, movement through the feet, through the ankles if we need it, maybe through the wrist a little bit if we find we need it here. Then we're going to start to work towards our seat for the meditation. So this might be the point where we grab bolsters or pillows or blankets or props. We might pull a chair in or move ourselves against a wall. Finding any support that we need, not only underneath us, but behind us, to help us stay upright so that we've got big capacity here to breathe into as we work our meditation. I like to keep things fairly simple with meditation. So it's usually, for me, a focus on the breath or maybe the heartbeat, sometimes loving kindness. But today we'll stay with that breath that we first talked about at the beginning of practice. So last little wiggles, last little adjustments, whatever we need to make our seat as comfortable as possible, knowing that during the meditation, there might be times where we need to move or wiggle a little bit, that's fine. Working back into the seat and stillness as quickly as we possibly can. And anytime we get those feelings like an itch or a need to move, maybe ride it out a little bit longer than you normally would and see if you can stay with it. And there might be times where we can actually move through something that might feel a bit uncomfortable, but that can be a challenge for us mentally and physically. If we really need to move, if we're in pain or anything like that, then of course, yes, we move and adjust. Some people like to keep their eyes open but focus on one point, so feel free to do that. And some people like to close their eyes, so feel free in your meditation practices to explore both. Zen meditation tends to be done more with the eyes open. The hands don't have to reach the knees. They're comfortably placed palms up or down or in your lap. And take a moment scanning from the top of the head all the way down through the tips of the toes, and see if there's any spot or place or last adjustment you need to make. Letting your seat descend and feel heavy, but your spine to feel strong and tall. Moving our awareness to the space around our belly button. We'll watch the flow of the breath or feel the belly moving, however it is that we connect to that place and the movement of the breath. So for some people, it's watching the movement of the breath. They might pick the depth to focus on, or the length, or the feel in the physical body. Some people like to count with the breath. You might do 1 on the inhale, 2 on the exhale. Some people try to count up to 10 and then back down with each breath. Both of those techniques are great because they allow us to notice at any point when something else comes in and distracts us away from however we're focusing on the breath. So if you're doing the count, anytime you get distracted by a noise or a thought or a feel, we don't judge, we don't attach. We simply notice and move our awareness back to the breath, start the counting over. If we're focusing on one aspect of the breath and we notice and an intruder comes in, we can say hi, let them pass on by, and then we come back to whatever we were focusing on the breath. So we'll stay with that for the next few minutes. And start to open your eyes or lift your gaze. Take a moment to shift a little bit. Go ahead, take those shifts. Come back to your seat. Either close your eyes or focus your gaze. Allow yourself to receive your presence as it is at the end of this practice. And slide our hands to our body in some way, reconnecting. Bow to yourself, take in the energy and dedication to your practice. I bow to you, thanking you so much for your time and your energy. Let me know if you have any questions or any feedback. Sometimes meditation, we think it's a practice where we need to reach this state where our mind is going to be blank. And for most of us and for most meditation practices, that's not necessarily going to be the place that we get to, but we might find places where we feel a bit calmer, more centered or grounded. We might find places where we have less intrusions and less thoughts and less distractions. We're less bothered. And we might have days where it's really hard and we feel like we are failing at it and it really sucks. And that's just another teacher that's meeting us on our mat or on our meditation seat. So allowing those teachers to come in and use them each day to work on our practice and our study of self. I want to thank y'all so much for joining me. Have a wonderful day.